1 to 10. What do you got?
Me, I got 8, 8.5, maybe 9. Y'all give me y'all answer in the comments.
I'm gonna go a little higher here than Trevor Lawrence, and I think I'm gonna go 8.5 with Tua and where he's at. This is a big year. I mean, not a huge year in the fact that expectations are through the roof with the Miami Dolphins. We know they're in a little bit of changing their team over as well, but we're in the midst here of, Tua, just like we talked about with Trevor, they've staked their claim as he's the franchise quarterback. He's going to lead us into the future. We paid him a ton of money. We, even when he was had questionable health status and we're not sure where the brain was and all that, they've put incredible talent around him, the best talent there is.
Exactly, man. Exactly, but I don't think people say that because of our O-line. If our O-line was as good as we would want it to be, then people would have been like, Tua really had the best supporting cast. But since our O-line wasn't up to par with our receivers and our running backs, nobody really blames Tua because the O-line wasn't that good as well.
Offense itself is one of the most creative in football. There's nobody you'll talk to that won't agree with that, right? The fact that the team has fallen off a little bit, I really think helps Tua a little here, and the lack of pressure.
It takes him off the radar. So now nobody really viewing the Dolphins as a threat, and that could be a good thing for the Dolphins, man. So we could come in, we could hit people in their mouths instead of them coming to hit us, knowing that we're the top offense in the NFL. So hopefully we can take advantage of us going into a lot of situations like that. But if we end up winning a lot at the beginning of the year, we might end up dying down towards the end. So hopefully we could just keep a steady pace and then start turning it up a notch towards the end. But we just got to hope that everybody stays healthy for that.
Because there's not expectations on the team. He's gotten away with it a little bit here, though. And we're talking about a few years here of, not healthy, not going to the playoffs, and I'd go with some of the best support around you in all of football.
Yep.
And then as we've talked about, too, in big games with Tua, and this is where I argue with people sometimes on the radio and other podcasts all the time, I go, there's pressure on you. When you're the biggest question on the team in every big game, there's tremendous pressure on you. So,
exactly.
This is a big year just because he's got to show that he can carry the team through a little bit of a year of transition here, and show also that, is there more to be untapped as we go forward here to where we think we can actually get in the playoffs, win playoff games with this guy? And I think that's what's at stake here a little.
Yeah, that's another direction that this team could take in regards to us winning a playoff game, but it seems unimaginable at this point because it's been 4 to 5 years and Tua has not done that. I'm hoping for the best, but I prepare for the worst.
Alone maybe Mike McDaniel's job along with it this year as we go into 2025.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. Tua is locked and loaded for 3 years.
Yeah, right.
He's already had $54 million in 2026 compensation become fully guaranteed.
Wow.
We broke it down when the contract came out. It was a 3-year full guarantee for Tua. But this is the year you can already kind of feel it coming.
You can feel it.
If they finish 3rd or 4th in the division, if they're not in the mix for a wild card berth, I think there's a very real potential that Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel are gone.
I heard that.
Introducing the 3-row, all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 9 with class-leading interior space.
And what happens next year? Well, we know what owners do. They tend to hire the guy who's the exact opposite of the last guy they had. So they had the hard-ass Brian Flores, old school, beat down mentally the players to get the most out of them, all of those old school ways. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Right.
It dates all the way up to Parcells. Belichick, Parcells, that mindset. So that was Flores. So Flores has gone in. Boom. In comes the guy who's completely different and is too easy on the players, some would say. The players have gotten soft under Mike McDaniel. So what happens if he gets fired, Chris? You're going to get another Mike McDaniel, or you're going to get a guy closer to Brian Flores? And what's that going to do for...
I ask myself all the time that question. So if we let go of Mike McDaniel, what type of head coach would the Dolphins need at that point? We went this direction. We got the tough guy. That ain't work out. We got the soft guy. That ain't work out. How could you find a even ground, a head coach that's going to give you an even ground? I feel like the even ground is finding a young guy with aggressiveness. A young guy that's not going to take no bull from anybody, but at the same time, he can relate to the players because of him being so young. His personality kind of comes off as you could kind of do anything with him. I love Coach, smart guy, but I'm just being honest based off what his personality shows, how the guys could be treating him in the locker room. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. No, don't let me know if I am wrong or not. But that's just what I think in regards to how Mike McDaniel treat these players. Like they said, he's a good coach, but it's all about what them players put out there on that field, and the coach is going, let them know, like, hey, if that's good enough or if that's not good enough. Shout out to Rap Rat from Kick. Shout out to you.
Tua, as he's entering the last year that's guaranteed under his contract. So the pressure for him this year is to save Mike McDaniel, not himself. Because if he doesn't save Mike McDaniel, he's next. Yep. And his 26 experience is going to be horrendous because he's going to be there. Now, maybe they'll find a way to get him to go away with pay. But, man, new coach, first order of business is going to be we need a new quarterback. And, yeah, we're stuck with Tua at $54 million this year.
Ain't no way a coach come here and they say that, yeah, we could make Tua work. Yeah, I feel like we got the best coach to fix Tua. There's no better that you could have done in regards to a coach. Nobody better. Maybe Andy Reid, but he wasn't available. I feel like Mike McDaniel was the perfect head coach for Tua, but that doesn't mean that he was the perfect head coach for the team. Does not mean that.
But he's not my guy, and he's going to know he's not my guy, and I got to find my next guy. So the pressure is through the roof. It's 11 on Tua. For a guy who's got all that money guaranteed, his career in Miami comes down to this year. Because if he doesn't save Mike McDaniel this year, Tua has no career with the Dolphins after this season.
I mean, it does. And it sounds like they're aware of that down there. And I have a lot of, friends, people that was South Florida, right? From everything I hear from, like, friends who are sports fans down there, they say, like, the radio stations, it's yes. Can we really get it done with Tua and McDaniel? It's changed that way, where it was all excitement and we got something special here going. But somewhere in the last year, it does sound like, the fan base down there is questioning where this is going. So we'll see. It's big. It is big. And it's big on Mike McDaniel, and which is I don't love. Again, I'm a fan of Mike McDaniel. I know there might be some issues we can pick there and all that, but I just want to go, I don't know. I'm watching the offense going, is it the most friendly quarterback offense in football? We throw it 3 yards here, he goes 90. We throw it 4 yards here, he goes 70. And we're going to blame Mike McDaniel. And he got stuck with Tua. He had no choice, just like you talked with Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. It was like, hey, do you want the job? Yes, I love Tua. Yes, I will make everything about Tua.
He throwing shots at Mike McDaniel. He basically saying, like, in order for Mike McDaniel to get this Miami Dolphins job, he had to glaze Tua. He had to praise Tua as if he was going to be the next great thing. Tua kind of showed us, like, flashes of that 1 year, but it kind of died out. And we never got to see that Tua. Maybe he comes out this year. Maybe we still get the same caliber of Tua that we're used to. And, maybe it's time for us to move on. Maybe it's time. Next video I got is of the top quarterbacks coming out next year. We're gonna see which one would be a good fit for the Dolphins. We're gonna see.
And we'll make the offense awesome. Hey, Tua,
Right, but he didn't
let's
have to
talk.
pay him.
Right.
They paid him on his watch.
But yes, but I know. But still, nonetheless, it's a tough situation that I think Mike McDaniel gets a little too much of the blame, in my opinion, at times.
He does, low key. He deserved the blame, but not all of it.
But I had a thought,
Yeah.
and we are big Mike McDaniel fans, but it's entirely possible that Mike McDaniel is going to be like a Norv Turner or a Wade Phillips, where he can be a very valuable component of a championship coaching staff, but you need somebody in charge that's going to be a little rougher around the edges.
Exactly.
That's going to be a little harder on the players, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, Mike McDaniel, he'll be a very good OC for the Commanders. I feel like, let's say Commanders do good again this year, top 5 offense, then that sets Cliff Kingsbury as available. And I feel like a team would pick up Cliff Kingsbury. Dolphins do bad this year. We fire our head coach. Boom. Mike McDaniel is not the head coach, the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. Right then and there. But I think Mike McDaniel, he's a good enough head coach to still get other opportunities to be a head coach. I don't think people are going to look at our culture and be like, oh, he's going to implement that soft culture into our team. They're probably going to look at their roster and see if he's a good fit. First things first, get a quarterback that would, help you win games. A quarterback that could put the team on your back. Like a quarterback that's going to help Mike McDaniel with his play calling. Like whatever play call Mike McDaniel runs, they're going to be able to run it. We don't have to throw it short all the time. A quarterback that could sling it, throw it deep, intermediate, that could run it. That type of quarterback. And if Mike McDaniel gets hooked up with Jaden Daniels, imagine that he could do with Jaden Daniels. You see what he did with Tua, right? So I feel like a team with a quarterback already established that could definitely run his scheme, could definitely benefit off of Mike McDaniel being on their team, and that's going to make them a championship caliber team. You have the offensive mind of Mike McDaniel, and you got like Dan Quinn, who's the head coach for the Commanders. He already instilled that culture of toughness. You can already tell by their tape how they play. They play tough over there with the Commanders. They do. So that mixture right there, and on top of that, Wes Welker, he already over there. So who knows what could happen? Who knows?
I'm not saying. Yeah, remember when the grades came out and people start getting A+? It's like, I don't know if the coach wants to get an A+.
Right.
You probably want a B from your pupils. You want to get the most out of them, and I've never gotten the sense that McDaniel, and we love the guy. It's hard for me to say this out loud. I've never gotten the sense that he's troubled by the phone call coming from inside the house, Jordan Brooks saying they're soft after they lose to the Packers on Thanksgiving night. Like, I just feel like McDaniel's like, okay. Like, he's too chill. Like, he needs to be more of an asshole. I feel like that, and maybe, I don't know, maybe the light's going to go off, or maybe he's just being true to who he is. He's always been his authentic self. That's what makes me think long-term for him, he could win multiple Super Bowl rings as the OC for a Brian Flores type of a head coach.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, and those are things that we're all going to question until they win some of these gritty, tough games late in December, win a playoff game on the road, tough, whatever it may be. That's what we question. I think it does bother Mike McDaniel, right? I think he tries to take it, head on, but yeah, it's definitely something we're all sitting here thinking about with the Dolphins.
We got to get to Justin Herbert,
yeah.
And I don't think this is going to take very long. It's a 1. When your head coach is ready to hand carve your bust for Canton, what pressure are you under?
Well,
none at all. None at all. Like the way that Harbaugh glazes Justin Herbert. He has a lot of confidence in his quarterback. Like the way that McDaniel talks about Tua, he says some good things about Tua, but the things that Harbaugh says about Justin Herbert seems like he gonna get him a ring. It seems like right now, McDaniel just hoping that Tua can get to that level as to where we win in a playoff game. But Harbaugh think that Justin Herbert could take him to that championship place, man. So we gonna see.
The pressure, I feel like, stems all from just the playoff game. But I see this a lot where I've seen people talk about Justin Herbert might be under more pressure than anybody in football. I want to go, what do you mean? Because they exceeded expectations and went 11-6 last year with a bunch of receivers that most people on social media make fun of until Lad McConkey started like balling out a little bit, and they were like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, he's pretty
that.
good. But everybody else were like, yeah, who the hell is he throwing to? Running backs were hurt.
Yeah, when
they played
into the season and they had Lad McConkey as the starting receiver, I'm like, what? He's y'all number one receiver? Them boys not gonna be good. They went 11-6. We had Tyreek Hill, we had Jalen Waddle. We went what? I forgot our record. We had a losing record, right? With Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the Chargers had a winning record with Lad McConkey and Quentin Johnston. Y'all know Quentin Johnston. I know y'all know Quentin Johnston. The guy who always dropping balls. Y'all know him. Let me search him up real quick. Quentin Johnston drops. There's like a whole video of him dropping footballs. I swear, I kid you not. Let me just look for it. Media. Them boys went 11-6 with this last year. 11-6 with this, but we had Waddle and Tyreek. We could even win a playoff game. Could even make the playoffs. Sad, dog. So one thing about it, I say Justin Herbert, he got a good O-line, but Tua has the better weapons. So which one you think is more important? A better O-line or better weapons? I think most people would say a better O-line, but why haven't we given that to Tua yet? We gave him the weapons, and we see what the results are without him having an O-line. It don't seem like those results are too good compared to Justin Herbert. Regardless, he gonna have a good O-line. So the Chargers, they've been bad, a year. I don't know how I could say in regards to them being bad, but there are some moments as to where they do look like a very good team with Justin Herbert. There are some moments, but he doing it with a guy like this. Come on, the ball hit you right in your hands. Come on, man. And then the next game after this, he'll catch 10 balls for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Like 3rd and 6 for Indy.
You see?
Like 3rd and 6 for Indy.
It's like, how do you drop that?
Like 3rd and 6 for Indy.
It's insane, man.